If your LGD is always barking, it's already losing. Predators don't fear barking dogs, they wait for them. And if your livestock guardian dog is barking all night, every night, there's a good chance the situation is already moving forward in the wrong direction. Not because the dog is bad, not because the dog isn't trying, but because constant barking doesn't mean control. It usually means the opposite. Most people are taught the same thing. If the dog barks, he's working. If the dog is loud, he's protecting. If the dog makes noise, predators will stay away. That belief feels safe. It feels reassuring. It feels logical. But in real environments with real predators, that belief gets animals killed. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. A livestock guardian dog that barks constantly is often leaking information. He's not projecting strength, and he's not controlling space. He's broadcasting patterns. Predators don't think like people. They don't panic at noise. They don't interpret barking as courage. They observe, they test, they learn. And when a dog barks at everything, predators learn everything. They learn where the dog sleeps. They learn how far the dog ranges. They learn what triggers a response. They learn how long the dog stays engaged. They learn when the dog settles back down. Noise becomes data. That's why constant barking doesn't scare intelligent predators. It trains them. This is where people get defensive because they've been praising that barking, encouraging it, reinforcing it. They've been told for years that a loud dog is a good dog. So when livestock disappears, they look everywhere except the behavior they've been celebrating. Livestock guardian dogs don't usually fail loudly. They fail quietly. And one of the earliest signs is controlled noise. Let's slow this down because barking itself is not the problem. Unfiltered barking is. A strong LGD does bark, but not like most people think. A confident guardian barks selectively, deliberately, with a purpose. Not emotionally, not constantly, not reactive. A good LGD uses silence as much as sound, and most people never learn that difference. Here's what constant barking usually means. It means the dog is reacting, not assessing. It means the dog feels uncertain, not dominant. It means the dog is responding to stimuli instead of controlling territory. That's not protection, that's anxiety. An anxious dog makes noise to relieve pressure. A confident dog makes noise to change behavior. That difference matters. Predators can hear that difference. They can tell when a bark is frustration, excitement, insecurity, or just boredom. Versus warning, acclaim, or intent. When a dog barks at everything, nothing stands out. There's no escalation, no threshold, no line being defended, just noise. And predators thrive in noise because noise hides movement. This is why many livestock losses happen after months of barking with no incidents. Owners say he's always barked. He's been doing his job. Nothing seemed wrong. But what they didn't realize is that the predators were listening and learning. Predators don't rush guarded livestock. They wait for patterns. And barking creates patterns. Let's talk about timing. A dog that barks all night teaches predators when the dog wakes up, when the dog settles, when the dog is distracted, when the dog stops escalating. Silence would hide those transitions. Noise reveals them. This is why experienced stockmen don't measure protection by volume. They measure it by control. Control looks boring to outsiders. The dog is quiet, still, uninterested, but internally, that dog is tracking. He's monitoring movement, measuring distance, holding energy back. That restraint is strength. People expect protection to look dramatic, chasing, barking, constant motion. But real protection is preventative. It stops problems before they look like problems. Now here's the part that really trips people up. Many dogs bark constantly because they've been trained to, not intentionally, but through praise. Every time the dog barks, the owner feels relieved. That relief becomes reinforcement. The dog learns noise gets approval, noise gets attention. Noise means I'm doing my job. Even when the noise has no effect, over time, the dog stops thinking. He reads and reacts automatically. And automatic behavior is predictable behavior. Predictability is a weakness. This is where things quietly shift from protection to performance. The dog is performing alertness, not enforcing boundaries. And predators don't fear performances, they test them. Let's talk about what effective barking actually looks like. A reliable LGD doesn't bark at movement. He barks at intent. He ignores wind, birds, familiar sounds, routine sounds. He reacts to directional movement, posture changes, approach patterns, boundary pressure. That discrimination is learned and is destroyed by constant overreaction. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Many dogs bark excessively because they aren't sure what matters. They lack clarity, not aggression, not courage, clarity. Clarity comes from proper bonding to livestock, consistent boundaries, correct early intervention, reduced human emotional feedback, not from encouragement to just be loud. A dog that knows his role doesn't need to announce himself constantly. Presence does that for him. Now let's talk about escalation, because this is critical. A good LGD escalates slowly. He goes from silence to posture to positioning to warning, then to action. A dog that jumps straight to barking has no escalation ladder. There's nowhere to go. Predators always notice that. They learn that barking doesn't mean follow through. They learn there's no cost. And once predators learn there's no cost, livestock becomes an experiment. And they're the cost. That's why some owners lose animals suddenly, without warning. Not because the dog wasn't there, but because the dog had already been mapped. This is also why some of the most reliable LGDs appear quiet. They aren't inactive, they're compressed. Everything is held back until it really matters. Quiet does not mean passive. Quiet means controlled. Now let's address the biggest misconception. Silencing a dog is not the goal. Teaching discernment is. You don't stop barking by punishment. You stop it by clarity, by teaching the dog what matters, what doesn't, where the line is, when escalation is appropriate. That takes time and patience. Most people intervene too late. They wait until livestock is lost, neighbors complain, predators get bold. Then they try to fix barking. But barking wasn't the problem. It was the symptom. The real issue was drift. Small behaviors ignored. Noise normalized. Clarity lost. Here's the hard truth. If your LGD is barking constantly, he's not failing because he's loud. He's failing because no one taught him when silence is power. The best LGDs don't win by intimidation. They win by control. They don't chase every threat. They make threats uncertain. And predators hate uncertainty. So if your dog is always barking, don't ask, is he working? Ask, what is he teaching? Because whatever the dog repeats, someone else is learning. And once predators finish learning, they don't bark back. They move. That's why the loudest dogs often lose first, and the quiet ones, the ones people worry about, are often the reason nothing ever happens. If this made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign, because protection isn't supposed to feel reassuring. It's supposed to work. If this helped you, like, comment, and subscribe.